Welcome back to Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment. That's going to be Andy Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio. Thanks for joining us today, Andy.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Happy Monday is right. So, going over Coinbase today, stocks having a really nice day, up about 10%. We've got Bitcoin up about 2.25%. It seems to be diverting a little bit. But when I look at Coinbase and how they make their money, Andy, and then I look at Bitcoin, who has been consolidating, hovering, around that 19 to 20,000 level, it just seems like it's kind of dead in the water at this point. Is this good or bad for Coinbase, according to your data at LikeFolio?
Well, I think it's clear. Excuse me. It's clear that the fall of Bitcoin from 68,000 to 19,000 was definitely bad for Coinbase. I think this is a company that spent pretty much the entirety of 2022 going up against impossible comps year over year, and continues to do so. So that wasn't good. I will say I think that this consolidation in the $19,000 to $20,000 level for Bitcoin really establishes a new baseline for people. And the longer it stays in this area, the easier it is to forget about that fall. From the $60,000 level down to where we're at today. We're starting to see that reflected in our data. We definitely saw quarter over quarter declines in the number of people interested in investing in crypto, which is what's on the screen right now. But as of the fall of 2022, this current quarter that's underway, we're really seeing a highly renewed interest, almost to all-time highs, of people talking about investing in or buying cryptocurrencies. And I think that's a direct result of this resetting of expectations and, this understanding that prices are at a new level. And what that does for Coinbase as the market leader is very clear as well. When we look at, purchase intent mentions of Coinbase, so that means people talking about downloading the app, depositing money with the firm, or buying cryptocurrencies through the Coinbase platform. We saw that on a significant decline, for almost a full year, if not a full year. And now, if you look at the green line at the very right of that chart, you're starting to see some reversal in that. Time will tell if this stays intact in terms of a reversal, or if it's just a kind of a dead cat bounce. But I really think that when you look at the combination of the macro trend of people getting back interested in cryptocurrencies at these price levels, along with the Coinbase chart, I think there's at least reason to think that there's light at the end of the tunnel for Coinbase as a company and for the crypto market in general.
Andy, their CEO, Brian Armstrong, said he wants 50% or more of their revenue to be from subscription and services, not just from fees on trading crypto. Right now, it's about 18%. He wants that over 50%. Is that the future of this business? And as that number grows, is that why not only crypto, but this company seems to be firming up here? Or what are you guys seeing other than just, it looks like crypto has stopped going down and it's firming up here? Is that really a reason to get back in on this stock? Or is it the fact that they're doing things like the Coinbase Cloud that they're doing? They do have some other products that they're offering. Are they starting to diversify? Is that making this a better investment?
Yeah, I think so. It kind of reminds me of, the way PayPal kind of turned itself around. Other companies like you look at Adobe or Microsoft, the playbook is pretty clear to get people onto a subscription platform to, when you have an audience, which, I would call the client base of Coinbase an audience. And I think when you have an audience of that size, there are lots of ways to monetize that audience that aren't just fee-based and don't just rely on transactional volume in the system. They can offer ways to keep your coins safer, ways to get unique content. There's just a lot that a company like this can do with the size of the client base that they have. I think they're just starting to get into that. I think it's one of those things where, as an entrepreneur myself and as someone very interested in business models, I think sometimes that these downturns, because they were just printing money hand over fist without really having to do anything for so long, because coins were just going up and and all they were trying to do is keep up with an influx of new customers. Well, once that stopped and things went the other way, I think it probably refocuses a company on how do we monetize the people that we have, and how do we get more out of each user. And I think that's what Coinbase is doing. I do think that there's reason for excitement around that, because this company has shown the ability to consistently execute time and time again as the leader in this space.
Yeah, Andy, and one of the things I always look at with Coinbase is the trading volume. It's been slumping lately just due to the fact that we've seen some consolidation. People are getting hurt in other asset classes in the overall market. Is this something that investors and traders should focus on with Coinbase, even though we're seeing an uptick in some of your mentions count as far as investing in Bitcoin, which maybe that's a result of the overall market going down? You're looking for other areas that could possibly go up at this point. But this is all about, volatility. And if Bitcoin becomes volatile, that's typically good for Coinbase. Do you see that, being the trigger that could, lift this stock even further?
Yeah, it could be. And we also saw, and Coinbase has really talked about a big reason for the weakness that they've had is, that most of its net outflows or people withdrawing or selling their coins was actually institutional clients getting out of the asset. And so institutional adoption, I think, is a really big part of their playbook. And institutions got very, very scared when interest rates started rising and everything started becoming a mess. And so another potential trigger, along with what you're talking about volatility, is that re-engagement of institutional adoption, which will probably take longer than the volatility piece or the trading piece with retail. But that institutional side, Coinbase still remains a leader in that, and they're going to be the one that probably attracts a lot of the attention in that space. So that's something we're watching as well. I don't think that turns around anytime soon, but when it does, I do believe it could be a nice inflow for Coinbase and their shareholders.
Andy, one last thing. How big of news for Coinbase is this move from AWS to Google Cloud, and using some of their tools and that relationship that they're having now? If you're on Google, you're going to use Coinbase to do some of your crypto transactions. Is that a big deal for them, or does it just add to their legitimacy?
Yeah, I think it adds to their legitimacy. It's yet to be seen how much conversion they get out of that. There's always hype around these types of things, and I like to see it play out a little bit more anytime it's, I hate to just get into something because a big name has attached themselves to it. I don't think that's a good reason to get into things. You want to see some proof that it's actually working, but it does definitely lend some legitimacy to the Coinbase platform, which is critical with all of the scams, all of the hacks that have occurred in this marketplace. I think people are looking for a safe place, a reputable place, and having that Google stamp of approval, doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah, definitely partnerships. Now, Andy, they don't have earnings until like the 3rd of November, but just based on your data, do you guys see those, that sentiment turning around as far as an earnings score?
It's starting to turn around. I think if earnings were tomorrow, we would have a negative bearish score, but it's starting to move positive pretty quickly at this point. A lot of it due to that overall macro trend, kind of people coming back into the coin. But I'm glad we have another few weeks before this report, because I'd like to see that data last a little longer before we get anywhere near bullish.
Yeah, we're definitely going to want to revisit this one ahead of earnings and see what kind of data that you guys come up with at that point. All right, great stuff as always, Andy. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Andy Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio, breaking down the sentiment data. I was actually pretty surprised.
That's what I call